I'm Cynthia Mallard.
And I'm Marq Dean.
Hey guys, good evening. This is Studio Set Stage. This is a special edition of Studio Set Stage. I know many of you are not used to hearing us at this time, but as we've said, this is a special edition. Myself, Cynthia Mallard.
And I'm Marq Dean.
And Marq Dean. We just wanted to come to you guys. As you already know, many of you have reached out to me, texted me just about what's going on as far as the protest in Atlanta. And we just felt like it appropriate, since we do have a podcast, we do have a platform that we can speak on, right?
Mm-hmm.
We felt it was appropriate for us to just get on and talk to you as people, as a show that comes out of Atlanta. So we just want to say, first things first, we are absolutely floored. If you are just joining us, you just don't know what's happening. The world is in chaos right now. It's in chaos. Marq Dean, myself, for this entire week or 2 weeks, we have been struggling with what do you say? You know, what can you say amidst times like these?
Yeah, I will say that this is, as the old folks say, these are ever-changing times that we are in. And, you know, no one really has all, you know, no one really knows the answers. A lot of uncertainty. One thing that is certain, that there is uncertainty. But amidst the chaos, amidst all of the...
And we're talking about the chaos, of course,
right.
The chaos that has resulted where people are just tired of being sick and tired of following the death of another, I must say, following the death of another black man at the hands of a white police officer.
Yeah.
We are talking about George Floyd. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
We are sick and tired. I think the country, black folk, us, you know, myself, Marq Dean, we're tired of seeing these videos we're having to replay over and over and over again, where it's the message has been sent that it's okay to kill a black person. All you'll do is get a slap on the wrist. You'll go home for a little bit, and then you'll come back.
Yeah. I just want to say, you know, normally I'm very talkative, and normally right now I'm at a loss of words. It's hard for me as a black man, as an African-American man, whatever label you want to put on it, but as a man of color, to see the display of total disregard for life, not just as a black man, but just as a human being.
For our lives.
For our lives.
Disregard for our lives.
And it is, you know, that the death, again, rest in peace to George Floyd.
All the other black men and women.
Amidst Ahmaud Arbery.
Breonna Taylor. Yes.
Taylor.
We can go on and on and on.
The list goes on and on and on. And the biggest question is, when will it end? When will it stop? And that's what you're seeing. You're seeing that reflected in the protests. The last couple of days where Minneapolis, Minnesota has been set ablaze.
Kentucky also.
Louisville, Kentucky.
And of course, just today, you guys know Atlanta. You know, we've been added to the list where people are tired. You know, I was just as millions are, we've been watching this unfold for hours, guys. Like, literally, we did not want to say anything. We just was just sitting back watching and just looking at how this is unfolding. Right. You know, if you don't know, protests started out today very peaceful.
Very peaceful.
People, demonstrating prayers, coming together. How do we solve this problem of racism in America? And it quickly, unfolded.
Yeah,
Like we literally watched it in front of our eyes, like this is unfolding.
Yeah, it seemed like around the afternoon, say between 4
About
and
4 or 5,
5.
right? 3:30, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock.
Things just escalated.
Exactly. And if you've been watching the news reports, if you've been on Twitter, any social media, that parts of the CNN Center has been damaged by protesters.
Oh yeah, it spread it throughout
Centennial Olympic Park, right?
Centennial Park.
Omni Hotel, the ground level windows. I'm seeing have been shattered, all of them.
Yeah, the College Hall of Fame.
Yeah, the Football College Hall of Fame
Hall of Fame
has been damaged. Georgia Tech, I think police cars set ablaze, y'all.
Yeah.
This is not in the spirit of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
I will say this. I'll say this. I think, and as we get into it, and we're going to get into it a little deeper as we, have this discussion, but, like you said, Cynthia, it's not in the spirit. And I believe that there's layers to that in terms of who's influencing the spirit outside of the obvious reasons for wanting to protest.
Right. Well, I think like we said earlier, protests have been organized throughout the nation. I think Atlanta was no different. It started out the right way, and like you were saying, possibly I say spoilers planted. Is that
right? Well, I would say this. That's not new under the sun.
No, it's not. Right.
In regards to that, any where you saw I guess almost a possible Yamanizing movement of the people in order to change the status quo, if you will. They have always been, as the old people would say, have a monkey wrench thrown in it through plants. This goes all the way back to slavery, to be honest. There's always been plants, when they talked about, and I'm
infiltrators,
infiltrators,
right?
The field ninjas,
yeah,
versus the house ninjas,
yeah.
And I'm saying ninja in substitute for the N word, so excuse my French.
So basically, we're saying,
you have those people, those plants,
intentional,
and that could be a possibility. Now, I'm not trying to play, conspiracy. I'm not trying to be the conspiracy theorist, but real is real. When you look at past organizations that have undergone that, the coattail, I mean, not the coattail, but I'm talking about the counter, FBI, infiltrating organizations like the Black Panther
Party. Exactly.
the Black Panther Party.
Totally.
Seeing those things. So I wouldn't be surprised if that might have had some part of what is going down in terms of the chaos, the melee, whatever you want to say, in which started out. I was listening to earlier Ambassador Andrew Young, noted civil rights veteran that was on the front lines of the civil rights, struggle with Dr. Martin Luther King. And he said something that just resonated with me and stayed with me. And I won't say verbatim what he said, but to a degree he said, it was organized to a certain degree, but the tools, how it was, how they planned it, it really wasn't planned out for, okay, what if this happens, or what if this goes wrong?
Yeah, it was organized as what he said about it was organized by social media, basically.
Right.
Is what he said.
Okay.
It wasn't equipped for that many people, and for, like I said, all the things that could go wrong. I was if you've been watching, and like I said, just kind of on social media, there was a press conference, and Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms,
Yes, Mayor Bottoms,
involving the police chief, as
Right.
well as T.I., Killer Mike, a former co-worker of mine, civil rights activist Derek Bozeman, and I will tell you, the message that they were sending out was to the young people, the ones who were looting, the ones who were torching the city. Go home.
Go home.
This is our home. Why would you burn down? Why would you damage? Why would you destroy your place? And I'll take it a step further. Why would you go and damage the city where African Americans have been so successful?
Yeah.
You are Black yourself. Hello?
Right.
It is your ancestors who fought so hard to build a place that's comfortable for you to live in.
Oh, yeah.
Even with your skin color.
Yeah. And I will further add to that, where like I said before, you want to say Black, African American, whatever label you want to put on it, where that agenda was at the forefront and paramount of progress. This is another example, and I know you might have some conservative people want to say this, that, and the third, but I'm speaking my mind. Lack of knowledge, not knowing your history.
Exactly.
And utilizing that history as wisdom and as a foundation to build on, to mobilize. As Killer Mike said earlier.
But he understood.
Take this energy.
But he understood,
Right.
though. He understood
Right. He
how
understand.
you can let anger.
And trust me.
You can let anger get to you so much
I know.
that common
I know.
sense goes out of the door.
Oh, yeah. Like they say, common sense is not common.
Right.
But I understand. Like when I saw that video of pretty much the lynching, the modern day lynching of George Floyd in Minnesota, it made me sick to my stomach, literally. And as a Black man, I wanted to take up arms and administer the same vile, vicious savagery that racist police officer administered to our departed brother.
I saw also on social media where you have people from all races, making comments, well, why does this affect you guys? You guys are in Atlanta. I saw someone on Twitter. Because we Black. Because we feel the pain. Because we are the descendants of a people who were enslaved, 400, 500 years.
Yeah, for almost 470 years.
The effects of slavery
Right.
are still here with us today.
Yeah.
There's no other culture, other race on this earth who has suffered, who has gone through and survived what Black people, descendants of Africans, have endured in America. Let's just get right down to it. We feel another brother or another sister's pain. It doesn't matter if they're in Alaska, they're in Florida, they're in Brazil.
Timbuktu.
If you are a person of color,
Right.
and this is happening to you at the hands of a white person, it is reminiscent. We know what that is, no matter where we are in the world. Okay?
Yeah.
It has been passed down.
Where someone literally and figuratively want to put their knee on your neck. And I'm not saying that to be facetious. I mean that literally.
Yeah. And we walk and we deal with it every day.
We deal
I'm
with
a mother.
every day.
I'm a mother. You wake up and you know how you must conduct yourself. You know the things that you should say, the things that how you should act when you go out somewhere. It's always in your mind, am I next? Is my son next? He's 5. Is my son next? Is my daughter next?
Exactly.
This is for this goes back and is a result of what we've built, what America was built on. So we just can't say, oh, that happened to that black man or black woman in New York, or that happened to them in California. Oh, poor person in California. No, this is a movement. These are our people.
Yeah.
If it happens to them, tomorrow it's you. Tomorrow, the next day, it's another person. And we've seen it happen over and over and over again with seemingly no justice.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. These atrocities must end.
We don't have the answers, like T.I. said.
Like I said, I don't have the answers.
And Killer Mike said today.
Right.
Like we don't have the answers.
But I do know this. I know that time is running, time is moving, and the time is up for the racist, fascist, disregard for our lives. This will not stand any longer, and you're about to feel the burn, and the burn is going to get hotter before it cools off. I will say this, and I'm just being honest. I'm not saying, okay, well, it's going to be just an uprising and there's going to be
it's already
100,000 Nat Turners
it's
out
already
there.
happening.
I'm not saying that, but I'm saying this. Everyone has to acknowledge their role in where it is right now.
Well, America will never, and we've talked about this before, but America can never move past until it makes amends for what it did to a people. People don't like to hear that. People don't like to talk about it. Right. Why can't we just love each other? I hear that all the time. that happened, years ago. Well, not so long ago, right?
Right.
We still recovering from what? Integration, segregation, Jim Crow.
Yeah.
The whole 9.
Yeah.
So, no, we can't. It has to be addressed, and it has to be addressed by America.
Yeah, technically, if you think about it, we really didn't receive what was promised to us.
Right.
Even the 13th Amendment, which says, well, that granted us our freedom, but not really, because there's loopholes in that pertaining to, say, if you get incarcerated. A lot of these things, there are loopholes in this thing. It's like Swiss cheese. It might taste good, but they have holes.
Mm-hmm. Intentionally, but intentional
holes.
Exactly.
So, with the Voting Rights Act, we just gained the right to vote in 1964. The Voting Rights Act, the Civil Rights Act, I'm sorry, it was 1964, the Voting Rights Act, where we gained the right to vote in 1965.
Not that long ago.
Just a generation,
Exactly.
2 generations removed. My father marched from Selma to Montgomery for the right to vote. So, as the young generation, it's incumbent upon them to understand the path
and the purpose behind protesting. It's not to burn. It's not to burn your own house down. It's not to lose your mind and just have a free fall. It's not that. I just wanted to read this quote from Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms, in reference to what has happened today in the city of Atlanta. Quote, she says, "What I see happening on the streets of Atlanta is not Atlanta.
Right.
This is not a protest. This is not in the spirit of Martin Luther King Jr. This is chaos. A protest has purpose," Bottoms said. "When you burn down the city, you are burning down our community. A community that was fought hard to be built by our city's leaders. You cannot come in one night and dismantle that. Like Atlanta right now is at the spot. It's a spotlight right now.
Right. It sure is.
And it's a spotlight not for something that's positive. It's a spotlight for something. It was positive around 3, 4 o'clock today.
Right.
But quickly turned chaotic.
Yeah. Turned into just the big
and just as Mark Dean was
chaos.
saying, just like Mark Dean was just saying, you got to know your history. Yeah. You got to know why you're out there. You got to know, I'm not out here just to go and steal something or just to break some windows. That's not what it is.
Yeah, you're playing into the enemy's hands, or as the old people say, you're playing into the devil's hands. If you don't know your history, you're destined to repeat it. And I know everybody, in addition to the anarchy of the pandemic, people are frustrated. Personally, I'm frustrated. We're already halfway in 2020. And how ironic is 2020? You're supposed to have 2020 vision.
Wow. Beginning of a decade.
Hindsight is always 2020. And I say all of that to say that history, whether good, bad, horrible, magnificent, can repeat itself, especially when you don't know or have a clue as to what transpired in your history. What people fought and died for you to have the right and privilege, and for you to have the rights and privileges that we have. And is this country just perfect? No, it's not. There is hellacious room for improvement. We don't treat each other as we should. And not to get religious, but I think we're seeing the Creator's disapproval of that.
You better say that.
We're seeing his disapproval of how we treat each other. Jesus said, as you remember the least of these, you do it unto the least of these, you do unto me. And we've seen how those in power and those that wanted to infringe upon the rights of others, twisted and misused religion as a basis for slavery, for other suppressive means. But you have to understand that you have the power to change, but it's not the what, it's the how.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be strategic.
You have power. You have power. You do.
Even though they want to paint it and you have all of this, as some people would say, I hate to say fake news, but it's not just fake news, it's fear.
Fear that you will have the decency, the common sense to come to the realization that you, I was about to say
that
something.
You're worth it. Pretty much.
That's one way to say it.
I saw a post earlier from one of our beloved actresses and sisters, Viola Davis.
Yeah.
She did a post. I think it was in conjunction with but she was basically saying you are worth it, and you have to believe that.
You're strong physically. You're strong mentally.
Yeah.
Not just physically,
right,
but mentally.
Yeah. Irregardless of
right.
the circumstances.
Exactly.
Because this too shall pass.
It shall.
But you have to stay the course. We've talked about that.
Well, like we were saying, use your strength.
Yes, you have to maintain.
Use your strength in going to the polls.
Right.
So you've got the energy out here to bust windows, to loot, right? To set cars on fire. Take that same energy. Keep that, as we say, keep that same energy, right? And go to the polls.
Exactly.
Influence your friends. You influence your friends to set a car on fire. Now influence your friends to go to the polls. I know you say, no, it doesn't work. It does.
It does.
It does.
Right. Instead of setting that car on fire, why don't you guys get a car, make a carpool to the polls, if you guys haven't registered to vote. Now, in terms of Georgia, I'm not sure about the other. I know some primaries have come and gone, but the primaries, they basically are for June 9th. If you check your mail, and I'm not talking about email, I'm talking about snail mail, most of you that are residents should have received an absentee ballot. Utilize that ballot. Now, some people probably never voted absentee, but this is one of the things, the jewels of the pandemic, is the fact that everyone that has registered to vote has received a ballot. If you haven't taken the time to vote, please vote, because that's where you can influence change.
We don't get us wrong now. We understand, guys.
I understand.
We understand. Like I said, every day since this most recent killing of one of our brothers or sisters has come out, it has anguished us. Okay, so we understand the whole anger. We get it. We totally get it. Right.
Right.
God is watching. I always say that God is watching. And a lot of people don't want to hear that, but God is watching. And he is turning things around. Okay? People feel like people are getting away with things. No one ever gets away. Like people never get away. I just want to say that. Right. No one ever gets away with treating people bad. It always comes back. It's so interesting that
karma.
Karma. Like Killer Mike said today. He said it against CNN, of course, and basically told them, karma is hey, start spreading love and positivity and things like that. But no one ever gets away with bull. You may have thought you got away. Your kids may pay. Their grandkids may pay. In this case, we're talking about racism in America, right? So, hey, the descendants,
Yeah.
They're going to have to make amends when it comes to racism in America.
Yeah. That's real.
That's real. I mean,
And
nobody wants to, because, oh, I have a black friend. Oh, I have a white friend. I'm not racist. I have 5 black people on my social media.
right.
And this is real. People actually
right.
say things like this.
Right. And they feel a certain amount of validity in that. And everybody's entitled to their opinions. I'm entitled to my opinion. You're entitled to your opinion. But truth, truth doesn't come to the party to make friends. Truth can be bitter. Truth can be angry. Truth can be the truth.
Okay.
And the truth of the matter is that America hasn't fully atoned
Right.
for the treatment of a people.
If you're just tuning into us, this is Studio Set Stage. It's a special edition of Studio Set Stage. We've been kind of up and down on a sabbatical due to personal reasons, but we felt this was a special occasion, like a very chaotic time in our history, especially for us, for Black people, and being the host of a podcast, a show. I'm Black. Marq Dean.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely Black.
That's right. We black, black. This is something that is gut wrenching.
Yeah, and it's I think there's power in dialogue.
Yeah, just talking about it
and getting it out there, because when you put it out there in a universe, like you said earlier, it's about the energy. And one objective for us is to put out positive energy even amidst the chaos.
Exactly.
Because light, when you bring light to darkness it erases. The light erases the darkness. So we just want to bring light to this dark time, this dark period of time.
And tell you, young people, that you cannot destroy Atlanta. There are so many people who love you, who love the city, who are still going to love you regardless of where you are in life. But they're here in Atlanta. Okay? These business owners, your mama, your daddy, your cousins, all of them, baby and them on the corner, they here in Atlanta.
Yeah, your family.
Don't destroy here.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
There are too many people who love you. This is one place that you can come and you can be. You were born here, possibly you're raised here. Even if you came here, this is a place that is good for Black people.
Oh, yeah.
It's good for white people, but it's definitely great for Black people. Okay?
Yeah. And you have the power within you, but you have to utilize it the right way. It's crazy. I sound like my folks, but that's real.
You get to that point where you become your folks, right? Is what they say.
Well, like you said earlier, being a father, being a Black man in America, I understand, you have certain things that are stacked against you from the get-go. So you have to use your head. You got to use your mind. Like the old folks say, you got to use your head for more than a hat rack. And use that mind power to, like I said, be a light, for others, for your peers.
Yeah.
Organize. Be strategic about the moves that you make. This is chess. It's not checkers. I've said that before. In life, what you see at the surface isn't what's going on beneath. So be aware. Don't fall victim to the okie doke, because the okie doke has been stronger than ever.
Exactly.
I've seen some of the most ridiculous stuff being said in the news, where in the sources that you would go to get, okay, I need some information, but you see some of the most ridiculous stuff. So you can't depend on that.
Yeah.
You have to have discernment. And the great thing about it is, now with technology, with resources and other tools that's available out there, you have access to it. Certain gatekeepers that were around 30, 40 years ago, they're not here anymore. You have to understand that it's important as young people to understand what's going on, not just getting caught up in all the social media facade and all of that stuff. I love social media. I love having the access and the resources, but understanding what is the bull, what's the BS, and what's real, and then taking those tools and moving in a positive direction, because they want to tell you that, okay, things can't change. It's that difficult. No, it's not. It just takes strategy. It takes learning, being open, understanding your history, building on that, using that as wisdom to move forward. And be like time. Keep moving forward. Don't stand still. Don't get stuck in a rut. Keep moving forward.
Well, I also want to say this is not just the Black people.
Right.
I just want to say that also, my white people, my white friends, my white colleagues, just all my white people. For you to stay silent during this time means that you condone everything that these white officers are doing.
Exactly.
So we haven't talked about that part, but
right.
For you to
talk about
just be silent. Oh, I'm gonna be silent. I'm gonna be quiet. Yes. I that's not my business. I'm a white person. No.
Yeah, speak on it.
No. We need you. Your best friend work at Waterworks. Your best friend down work at City Hall. We need you to talk about it too. Okay.
Right.
For you to stay silent is a travesty, and for you to stay silent means a whole lot. It tells us a lot. You're our friend and you good with us when you come to work. But when you go home, are you calling us the nigga? And that's the reality. That's the reality of racism in America. The guy, the officers, the various occasions of officers who have killed our brothers and sisters. Yeah, they work on the police force with the black officers, right? But they go home, they calling us niggas. Or they're part of the KKK.
Oh, yeah.
Or they're part of all these, like I said, militaristic,
Well,
I'll
tell you this. I wasn't going to go there, but I want to just shed light on this. And this is part of kind of understanding your history. I don't know how many people saw Black Klansman, the movie.
Yeah.
If you haven't, definitely, it's a great movie. Spike Lee joint, but
starring John David Washington. Yeah,
John David Washington. But to add on to that, was based on a true story. But even to go further, I met the leader of the Southern Poverty Law Center, gentleman by the name of Mr. Morris Dees. Caucasian gentleman, but for years, one of the objectives of the Southern Poverty Law Center was to focus on groups like the Ku Klux Klan, to focus on racist groups. And there was a study that just talked about where these militias that were racist militias that were going, and they were underground, and they were doing training, like military training, for one day saying, okay, it might be a race war. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna train. However, they were fleshed out. A lot of these groups were light was shed on them, and a lot of them served time. A lot of them was busted, and a lot of these groups ended. Well, some didn't. They just went underground. But they said, well, we're going to infiltrate law enforcement. So you're seeing these little sprouts of violence and all of these things that's going on. It's continuation of that. Now, some people say, well, that's just a conspiracy. No,
it's true.
You have to do your homework.
You can look at the officer that had his knee on George Floyd's neck.
Yeah.
While this man was saying, I can't breathe. They're trying to kill. They're killing. They're going to kill me.
No remorse. No, like
he had his hands in his pocket.
I'm gonna just dig my knee on
his
down. His
face looked like this is an everyday thing,
right?
And it's gonna be okay. I'm gonna walk. No one's gonna do anything.
The norm.
You could see it.
Sickening.
Unbelievable. Unfreaking believable.
Right.
So, once again, this is Studio Set Stage. I'm Cynthia Mallard.
And I'm Marq Dean.
And this has been a special edition of Studio Set Stage because we are Atlanta. Atlanta has offered us many opportunities.
Yes.
Previously, it still continues to offer us opportunities. We have friends, we have family here in Atlanta, and this is a flourishing city. We want this city to continue to be a beacon of light for the entire world.
Yes.
We don't need a car burning set by a 18-year-old because he didn't understand the history of Atlanta. He didn't understand his history as a black person. Yeah. We don't need that. We don't want that. Again, feel
free to reach out to us.
We're like caught up in it. Everybody's is so emotional right now.
Yes, indeed. And this was important for us. I mean, we were just taken aback by just seeing.
But we were happy
but
in the very beginning with the nonviolent
very happy. But that shows you how things can go left real quick.
real quick.
If you don't have the proper understanding or the proper purpose. The road to hell was paved with good intentions, guys. Remember that. But, I will say that we need to continue this dialogue because... And just to be honest, it might get a little worse before it gets better.
And then we have a president who is, like I said, reality show president.
Oh, yeah.
Who is only concerned about social media and how they're possibly censoring him.
Yeah, how ridiculous.
At this moment in time.
I just want to say this, right.
At this moment in time, this is when we need a president to come on to calm the nation, but he doesn't know anything about that.
Yeah. How ridiculous. You want to write out an executive order trying to restrict what? First Amendment, freedom of speech?
Right.
Man, I just want to
when the whole world, the whole nation, your nation is in unrest.
GTFOH. That's what I want to say about that.
Yeah. So listen, guys, we are here. If you're listening, you feel like you want to reach out to us, you can always reach us at studiosetStage@gmail.com. Of course, you can reach me on all social platforms at Cynthia Mallard.
Yeah, you can reach me at Marq Dean Music. And definitely be sure to check out our website, studiosetStage.com. And we appreciate the feedback. I had a couple of people hit me up that, always hit me up when they see or went back and listened to past shows. And don't worry, we are still here.
We are still here, but
we're not going anywhere.
We are still here. Just want to say, though, make it your business. Make it your purpose to spread light and love.
Yes.
Make it your mission to spread light and love. No matter whenever you you decide, or whenever it hits you.
It's important.
But it is important to spread, like I said, light, love, and positivity. Yo, I'm telling you. I feel like everyone hasn't always been positive all their lives. There are things that happen that kind of, take you and steer you down a dark path, right?
Oh, yeah.
But then you come back and you find the light, the love, and the positivity.
Exactly.
And you need to commit, because I have. Commit to every single day saying something positive, doing something positive. Make it a part of your everyday, all day life. You cannot go wrong.
Because when you seek out light, it will illuminate darkness.
It's contagious, and it's contagious.
And
it's contagious, and it's what we need.
Contagious.
It's what we need in these times. Even when you're just talking to your girlfriend, if you're talking to your guy friend, you're talking to your colleague, whoever. That is what we need, because the devil is busy.
Oh, yeah.
Do you hear me? Busy. So listen, we love you.
Yes.
We love Atlanta.
We're praying for Atlanta. We're praying for
Atlanta.
Minneapolis.
Praying for the nation.
We're praying for all the cities that's on fire right
exactly.
now. And, your voice is being heard, but make sure you go a step further. Vote.
Yeah.
Guys, if you haven't voted.
Yeah.
Make sure you fill out the census. Make sure your voice is heard.
And if nothing else, you feel like you can't do those things, go get on social media. Everybody got an account. Get on social media and just talk about what's happening right now at this moment, at this minute, and how you feel.
Yeah. Closed mouths don't get fed, guys.
That means a lot. So again, we love you.
Love you guys.
I'm Cynthia Mallard.
And I'm Marq Dean.
And this is Studio Set Stage, a special edition of Studio Set Stage. Talk with you next time.
God bless.